Good evening all, welcome back to RLH once again. All up and running. As you can see already we've got cars on track and we've got intermediate conditions by the looks of things. And we'll try and catch up with who's on a lap and get some information on screen for you all to guide you through qualifying. Brazil is the venue this evening, as it was recently for the F1 race. As Ricker comes through on a lap, I believe, there, and there was a Ferrari in the middle of the track. Whether that Ferrari is on a lap and simply slower, or is on a slow lap, remains to be seen. And a collision with Ender there as well. So yeah, I think that's the same Ferrari, making life a little difficult for himself out there. Skipsy straight to the top of the order. Backer slotting in just behind on a 7.23 behind Skipsy's 7.21. Micken on a 16.740. It's all very nice and tight up the front. It's as we've got, I think Skipsy is off the track. Yeah, he's spun through turn 3, manages to keep it out of the way of other cars. There's one of the McLarens coming up behind. I think that may have been Phil. No, he's already down into sector 2, and so it was Nicker then. As Fleddy now goes fastest on a 16.265. I was about to say, because Rick has gone in a 16.7 as well. The short circuit we've got here tends to give a pretty tight grid. Obviously, it's a little bit longer than usual given the wet conditions, but yeah, not too much over a minute in the dry conditions. Definitely one of the shorter lap times of the season. And is there anyone who's not setting a time just yet? We've got Giraffe at the back of the circuit. He's running just behind his teammate on the track at the moment. Into the final sector he comes. Should be able to get a time on the board. It's not invalidated, so he's just climbing the hill now. We'll get a bit of a slipstream, even given the wet conditions. And where can he put himself on the grid? Goes across with a 1.16.6, so slots in just ahead of those 16.7s we mentioned earlier. As I believe we've got, is that Cranky who's been off the circuit? It is, and that was at the end of his outlap by the looks of things, so it's going to cost him a little bit of time in terms of speed coming across the start-finish line. Might even see him coming straight into the pit lane. We do indeed. So Fleddy returns to the pits. He's gone fastest so far. Micken has managed to get pretty close to him with a 16.4. Backer improved to a 16.5. So as we've seen in the last couple of races with some rain-affected qualifyings, it's highly likely that we'll see drivers going out there for more than one lap, just putting the fuel in and letting it run. And that seems to be what we've got here. Just see if we can get any comments up. Try and get as live as possible as we can from the drivers, but yeah, Multi across the line, having invalidated that particular lap, stays P8 at the moment. Just in time has gone up to P4, so one of the Williams is getting a decent lap in. Let's just check in. Actually, yeah, Cranky did pit, didn't he? So he's still back in the garage at the moment, and MRPK and Schnitzy, the other two, not to set a time, as Ricker goes just to the top of the table by 1/1000th of a second. So Backer's now improved again to a 16.2, so it's definitely nice and tight up the top. Bodes well for the race indeed, although that could be completely different conditions. We'll wait and see on that one. Who's gone faster there? That was Liam, wasn't it? Just going to cross the line for AlphaTauri, 16.4 for him. And let's get some standings, because as you're probably aware, if you've been keeping up with things, we could crown a champion this evening. We'll start with constructors. We've got Ferrari on 3.23, Aston 2.91, so that, I don't believe, as we've got a Red Bull off the circuit there. Was that Christian Hasser? Yes, it was, and I've seen someone else off the track in amongst all that. That's Multi staying out of the way. Has he got a front wing on that Alpine? It doesn't look like he has. So one of the McLarens comes through. In fact, both of the McLarens come through. Nicker's the first one. I think he's got possibly Ricker running in behind him. Nicker goes across the line. Can he improve? does to a 16.9, stays in position. Ricker goes fastest on a 16.1. Got a nice toe from the McLaren as well. Phil only hits 19.7 so far, so seemingly struggling in the wet conditions. So, just under 10 minutes remaining. Ricker on provisional pole from Fleddy, your championship leader, I believe. In fact, actually top two in the standings. So Fleddy leads from Ricker, and then Giraffe, and they are your top three in the standings. And I believe probably the only three that can take the championship. I may be slightly mistaken on that one. I think Bakker maybe still has an outside chance, but it will rely on some DNFs for those ahead. Yeah, Bakker still 75 with, what is it, 84 technically remaining. With qualifying, well, a point for pole and fastest lap, of course. So, yeah, realistically it's between Fleddy, Ricker and Giraffe going into the final couple of races. This is round 13 and 14, of course. We go to Jeddah, brand new circuit next week for the season finale, so if it's not wrapped up by then, who knows what to expect. As MRPK has gone to the top of the pile, so he's a little late getting time on the board. Goes over with a 16.006. And Liam's just improved actually on that lap as well. Very good stuff from the AlphaTauri driver. Where's he sitting in the standings? 5th at the moment. He's got a chance of making that P4 by the end of the season. And yeah, sitting on the outside of the second row as it stands. We'll try and keep as much an eye as we can on what's coming through from C3 as well. Running simultaneously this evening. We could actually have a champion crown there as well, and we'll just give a quick rundown of the standings there. I'm aware that you can't see any of the action there. However, we've got Wolvesy on 244 and Luke on 191, so yeah, providing if Wolvesy outscores Luke, then it's over, guaranteed, and we'll crown a champion this evening. The constructors rather closer. Alpha on 364 from Mercedes on 362. So yeah, the constructors championship in C3 really looking pretty hot. But it's the drivers we have to focus on really for the entertainment in the C2 championships. And yeah, Micken's gone to the top of the pile on 15.9, so conditions may be improving, and it does look like the rain's maybe slowed a little bit. And Liam on a 15.9 as well. So yeah, a couple of drivers broke the 1:16 barrier. Still Ender only on a 1:50, so he's not got a clean lap in just yet. Phil on a 19.7 is back in the pits. Fleddy, though, it lowers the bar once again. The championship leader comes across the line with a 15.836, another 10th knocked off the fastest time. And yeah, keeping an eye on the weather, we've got 6.5 minutes remaining. Definitely starting to brighten up as Fleddy gets a bundle of opposite lock through turn 4, maybe indicating that these Inters are starting to come to the end of their life, maybe overheating the rear tyres. And yeah, rain looks like it's stopping, horizon looking a little bit brighter. It's going to be a case of who can get out there right at the last minute again, isn't it? And maybe that's what Phil's seen. Maybe he's put a standard setup on, rather than compromising it for any sort of wet conditions. Maybe we'll see that McLaren moving forward just a little bit if the track begins to dry out. Who is going to be? We're going to have to get off best then, aren't we? So LS24 is looking like the first man to be thinking about it. He's got softs fitted to the car in the pit lane, but not to come out on track just yet. There's no rush, 5.5 minutes remaining, as we've already mentioned. It's a very short lap. You do have to make sure you leave a little bit more, obviously, to get down the end of the pit lane, and the fact that, say, it may not be perfect conditions for the slicks on your outlap, so leave a little bit of time, get out there on an outlap, and yeah, just cross the line at the last possible second. We're probably going to have drivers fighting over some space. MRPK's out there on another outlap on the Inters. suggesting it's maybe not drying out as quick as we would have expected once the rain stopped. And as you can see, look at that, we've got so pole's 15.8 at the moment, and where would you say, and P10 is 16.3, so half a second covers the top 10, which is pretty impressive. Multi's just been knocked out of the top 10 as we find him off track once again, so he's had a bit of an adventure in the first sort of 12 minutes of qualifying or whatever. Who did knock him down? Skipsy, I think. No, Skipsy's in the pits, so it can't have been him. Did Giraffe improve? Or maybe Cranky. Missed that one. It could have been Cranky. No, it was Giraffe. Yeah, so it was Giraffe who improved. Put himself up into P7. Still no one else fitting the soft tyres just yet. As we have a little bit of a lull in proceedings. Who else have we got? We've got Ricker out there down at turn 4. The scene of absolutely no controversy whatsoever recently. Hang on, Nick is thinking about it. We've got more soft tyres being fitted in pit lane. 3 3/4 minutes remaining. As Ricker comes through, we'll keep an eye on his times. Giraffe coming across the line. He's probably going to come straight into the pits. He does indeed. We've got who else? Liam. Liam continuing on. He's on an outlap at the moment. So if he wanted to consider a lap on the slicks, he's going to have to get around there pretty quickly and probably abort this lap actually. But it's all looking pretty dry at the moment, isn't it? It's looking pretty tidy on the inters. Certainly not looking leery. Phil's also put the softs on ready. Fleddy's gone back out on a set of inters, so he's clearly thinking it's simply not wet enough, not dry enough even. So we'll keep an eye. Someone's got to roll the dice on a set of slicks in this, surely. We didn't see it last week in C3, I think it was. With what track were we at last week? Japan, wasn't it? Yeah. We saw one driver attempt it, but didn't actually get to the end of his outlap, so missed the time for the checkered flag being thrown. And at the moment, we've got 2.5 minutes remaining, so still got quite a bit of time to get out there. But you don't all want to be squabbling over the same bit of track. Backer's thinking about it as well, and as you can see, none of them out on track yet. They're all wanting to leave it as late as possible. Mediums there for MRPK. That would be a big gamble, and yeah, it'd be interesting. Fleddy though and Micken, so your top two both on outlaps on the intermediate tyres. Liam's still out there as well, starting another lap, so he's not coming in for slicks. 2 minutes remaining. Who is gonna? There's a McLaren coming out, and they've both got slicks fitted, so someone's going out on it. It's Phil. Outlap on the slicks. Cranky's going out on inters. So how quick can Phil get up to speed on these slick tyres? At the moment, if everyone else, if they're going to do it, they're leaving it very late. Nick is out there on a set of slicks as well, so both McLarens attempting it. Backer's still in the pits with 1 minute and 37. They're absolutely leaving it to the last minute. I would always prefer to get out on track and sort of pick your position on track, slow your outlap down a little bit, rather than maybe get caught in the pit lane. Phil's gone round. So that's another thing that could cost you getting to the start-finish line, of course. And he needs to be careful there. That was a little tricky, making sure he got round without impeding anyone. But at the moment, what have we got? We've got Fleddy going a little bit quicker, so he could lower the bar that these slick tyres cars have to beat. He's going to get a nice tow as well from, I think, Liam as they come through. He's running slower, so he's not going to improve. Micken has invalidated. Fleddy across the line. We've got Nickus, I think, no, it's Phil actually staying out of the way. Fleddy goes quicker, 15.4, so the track is improving. But how quick can these guys get to the line? Nickus going to be the first man, I think, as Multi's off track. Backer is coming through, so how long have we got left in this session? 37 seconds. This is going to be pretty tight. Nicker is down at turn 1, so we'll keep an eye on his sector times. We won't have to wait too long until we get the first sector. And who's going to be the last man across the line? Phil's going to cross the line as well. We might just get the Alpines across as well there. Nick, 9 tenths down at the moment. Is the track going to come to him? in the final 2 sectors of the lap. At the moment, it's not working out as dry as it looks. Oh yeah, big moment, and that's going to have to be aborted. Next is Phil. Didn't get a time for him, unfortunately, but it just doesn't look too quick, does it? It's bizarre. It's almost like... And he's in the wall. So that's both McLarens have dropped it in the same position. Multi didn't make it to the line. Bakker, I don't think, made it to the line. That's how slow he ended up being on his outlap. MRPK seemingly got to the line. But he's behind the Alpine, so I'm not entirely sure what's happened with that one. Time is now up. And he's definitely not making it around this lap. So at the moment, it looks like Fleddy made the right decision and puts himself 5 positions ahead of his nearest championship rival. So once again, second week in a row, as much as it looked like it was drying out, it just never quite came. Micken's still out there on a lap. Could actually improve. It's not over just yet. The guys on the Inters, if they can keep them alive. Car's getting out of the way, and Micken's invalidated, unfortunately for him. MRPK, we've seen, is not going to improve. We've got a Williams on the outside. We've got cars all over the place. Phil will just make sure, but I don't think he's improving, and he's facing the wrong way. So, yeah, not happening there, is it? Both McLarens starting down the back. Cranky, can he improve? He's off the track here, racing 2 Alpines that have finished in AI by the looks of things. So, that was interesting. DRS has been enabled. That's kind of him. Just in time is not just in time for any DRS. He is invalidating and back to the pits as we've got a crash in pit lane. That should be qualifying over. Phil will cross the line, as will Christian Hasser without a front wing. And MRPK just has to, he's going into the pits. That's a little frustrating. We'll have to wait for that car to be put back in the garage, but either way, Fleddy is on pole from Mick and Liam, MRPK, Skipsy, Ricker, Giraffe just in time, Bakker and Cranky. That's your top 10. Confirmation of your official qualifying order then. Everyone ended up doing their best laps on the Inters. So no question about starting tyres. They'll all get a fresh set. And yeah, won't be too long before we're on the grid and underway. Dry and bright by the looks of things for race day. That'll be music to the ears of Fleddy. He's got himself up the front. He's leading the championship, and in theory, a more straightforward race in the dry. Yeah, coming through from Skipsy. Track was in a weird state at the end. Yeah, it did look rather dry, but slick's just not working, unfortunately. Nico, it's too wet for dry tyres. Yeah. Cranky spun at the end of qualifying by the looks of things. We just caught that, didn't we? On the exit of the final corner. Got just a couple of seconds and we'll be going to the grid. And away we go just about on the formation lap then. Fleddy leads us away. from Micken and Liam. And yeah, we'll see how quick the formation lap takes place. We've seen some pretty quick ones recently. Drivers really wanting to get on with things. We'll stick with position change for now. We'll have not bother with the track map for the start, and we'll get rid of telemetry as well. We'll keep a nice clear screen for the race start. Feel free to get any predictions in. There's a little bit of trouble in C3 by the looks of things. So 16 points separates the top two in the Drivers' Championship before this evening. What it's going to be like in 36 laps time. If it's more, than 42, it's game over. Because in fact, if it's more than, if it's 42, Fleddy would take it on countback. He's had an incredible 5 wins so far this season. Ricker's had 6 podiums, so he's been consistent. Only been on the top step once, however. And last car's just about lining up now, and we'll be ready to go with the Brazilian Grand Prix. Number 46. I wonder if that's anything to do with a certain Italian bike rider. Fleddy, though. We've got 5 lights, I believe, and it's underway. Good start from Fleddy. Nice and clear into turn 1 already. Cracking start from the Ferrari driver. We'll see if there's any drama further back. All looks pretty clean at the moment. As we come through turn 2, a little bit of contact between Giraffe and Ricker. So it manages to get away with it. And a little bit of action there. We've got Skipsy up the rear wing of MRPK, trying all the sides, but not quite managing to pull the move off. But for the second time this week, we see a Red Bull off the track at the exit of turn 4, and BJ Skipsy ran the outside into 5. Can he make that one stick? Great move. So making his way through the order, needs to as well, because where is he in the championship? P8 at the moment, and there's some positions on offer. Could still get up to P4 or 5, I think. So anything is a bonus. Who have we lost down the back? We've got Phil. I think there's looking a little bit laggy there at some points. But either way, he's down the order. Fleddy, though, already away and gone. We'll get an interval on. Yeah, almost breaking that 1 second barrier as we come across the line to finish lap 1. Micken's still going with him, and Liam, the top 3 have all maintained position. Skipsy, we've seen up 1, MRPK down 1 as a result. Rick has maintained position. Backer and Multi in the Alpines up a couple. Multi up 3 now as he goes through ahead of Giraffe into P8. Giraffe, I think, went a little bit wide because Just in Time is now on the back of him, could be looking to make a move. The Williams is being followed by his teammate, but can he make his way through on the fellow Mercedes engine customer? Not quite just yet. Has to give second best as Craigie's gone miles off the track there in the background. Has to be careful of Entity, and yeah, so that's in the end it was an Aston getting the better of the other Williams, as LS24 sneaking up the inside possibly now. Not quite, couldn't get the nose up the inside. Nicker trying to be as patient as possible as it all gets a little spicy ahead of him. Can't quite make any progress just yet. He's made it 1 position from the start. Christian Hasser pinned down there in 15th. Has Nicker got problems? Did he maybe just miss a gear? Christian Hasser, though, is through, and we've got Schnitzy off the track almost through Magullo, and makes up your top 17 with Phil recovering in P18. Fleddy now, though, is through. DRS will be enabled, but he is clear of it, as is Micken. So not going to see any of that in the top 3. Skipsy, though, is all over the back of the AlphaTauri, and we may see a move here. DRS is open on the Alpha, and it's about to overtake the other Alpha around the outside into turn 4. Pretty straightforward move in the end. Sorry, takes P3. and Liam down into P4. MRPK is trying to make his way back up the order. He's on medium tyres actually. We've not seen that one yet, have we? Because we had free choice, so we've got Cranky and Just in Time, both the Williams going for the hard tyre. And the top 4 all on the softs. MRPK, maybe that's why he dropped a position. He's starting on the mediums. Rick looking very good on the mediums actually, as LS24 picks up a time penalty. It's a little bit early to be picking that up. Other than that, Giraffe and Entity, the two Aspens, both on mediums. Christian Hasser on medium as well. The rest of the field, as you can see, all very much on the red walled soft tyre. As MRPK, can he get any closer? We've got DRS fighting back though. The AlphaTauri Liam going around the outside into turn 1, and that should be another straightforward DRS move. Looking like they're going to keep swapping positions for a while, as long as he can stay close enough to him. Can we see Skipsy maybe repay the favour down into turn 4 once again? He's also looking pretty close in behind. So DRS and overtake mode enabled. He's gone for the inside this time. A little bit of contact as they run each other to the edge of the track. Both staying on it though, and Liam at the moment is keeping it stuck around the outside. Just leaves enough space into 5, but Skipsy's ran a little wide. MRPK could maybe have a look. No, not quite this time. Has to settle in behind. But this is letting the top 2 get away. There's Fleddy 1.6, 1.7 now over Micken, and Liam now just about 2 seconds off the top 2. So it's definitely helping Fleddy. But Rick is down to 7th. Back has come through on those soft tyres. So Rick are taking a very different approach to his sort of championship attack in this race. And we'll be hoping to go a little bit further and maybe get a well-timed safety car to take best advantage of that. We're looking back from MRPK at Backer. He's trying to get as much slipstream as he can, but not close enough just yet. Looking forward, we've got Skipsy now still leading Liam. But, Liam's going to get the DRS now, I believe. Pops it open, and can he go back around the outside? Looking to the right hand side, yep. And can he swing around the outside? Not quite, got enough of the car ahead. Looking for the switchback. Skipsy has that one covered pretty nicely and maintains P3 for now. But yeah, it seems almost the DRS is so powerful that if you're at the head of the train, you're going to get overtaken pretty much every other lap. So you've got to sort of make the overtake and then somehow in the middle sector of the lap get a second ahead. As Nika makes a bit of progress now, or maybe just not quite actually, as Christian Hasser picks up a time penalty, and Schnitzy's going to be up the inside there. We're running too wide through pretty much the entire second sector. Nika just about keeps his nose in, and maybe, yeah, should get that one back. It does indeed, and we'll go back to the front, because what's going to happen with the DRS this time? Skipsy trying to cut as tight as possible to keep the AlphaTauri out of his slipstream, although Liam's coming no matter what, and actually brake very early, quite cautious, maybe looking for the DRS down to turn 4, so he's got a longer period where he can try and stretch that 1 second gap. It does look maybe like Liam's got a bit more raw pace if he could break the DRS. He's going up the inside, side by side, once again into 4, and once again the one on the inside is slightly behind. Skipsy just maintains it. MRPK is still not managing to take advantage, and Backer now is very, very close behind. Liam's up the inside though, through now can he get up the inside? They're still side by side into the left-hander. Skipsy a little bit of contact. Backer maybe trying to take advantage on MRPK. We've got 4 cars, and now Ricker and Multi coming into the equation as well. If you don't get the move done, you're going to get done from behind in a minute, because it's so close. The top 2 have absolutely checked out, and Liam for now is ahead, but he's not been able to break that gap at all. He's barely ahead of BJ Skipsy going up the start-finish straight, even before the DRS is enabled. Look how close they're running through the left-hand kinks on the start-finish straight. Who's going to be in third? I think MRPK could take this. He's on the inside. Liam's going to come back through, all giving each other a very decent amount of space. Oh, contact! MRPK's round. Hopefully keeps it out of the racing line. Does just about, spins the rear up. But can he get going again? We'll have a track map. We've waited long enough, and he does get going, but he's going to lose all these positions. They're running so much quicker than him out of turn 3. He's all the way down to 14th place now. As we go back to the front, back to that battle. BJ Skipsy, Liam, Backer, Ricker, Multi is now your order. Then there's a bit of a gap to to Giraffe, sorry. Who's going to make the move this time? I think, unfortunately for MRPK, he was a victim of how generous he was, really, on the brakes and the space he gave into turn 1. He sort of went pretty cautious once he got there, and paid the price, unfortunately, by getting squeezed just a little bit out of it into turn 2, and maybe struggling with tyres now. Then might have to pit if he can't get them back in a working temperature window. Liam's up the inside, is he? Can he get that one done? They're running side by side once again through turn 2. Pretty incredible this, how long they've managed to do it, and we've only seen one bit of contact so far, but Liam could be vulnerable now. Look at Backer coming up the inside. He's not going down without a fight in this championship, is he? Can he make the move stick? Just about. Makes it through turn 4, 5 now, and he's got a pretty decent run as they go into turn 6, and he should swing around the outside pretty nicely. Should be able to cover that one off from Liam. And yeah, got that one done. He's now into P3. Can he break the gap? He's not going to get rid of the DRS to the car behind this time, but can he get far enough ahead to be able to defend? He's got a lot more energy, so he can use that a little bit to his advantage down the start-finish straight. Skipsy now back down to P5, and Ricker on those mediums starting to look pretty good, isn't he? The problem for him is Fleddy's some 8 seconds down the road. Backer is just about maintaining position. He'd used all his deployment on that lap, but crucially had enough in the tank, and we can't get a external view on Backer at the moment. But Liam, yeah, he's going to struggle for energy once again. He's got DRS, but what can he do when he gets there? Backer still just about being able to defend, and had the energy to do so when he got there. As long as he doesn't go too wide, he should maintain that position, no problem. Liam's problem now is he's got pretty much no energy left whatsoever. You can see the red light flashing as he's still trying to get the move done through the middle sector. Problem for him is, as he does get the move done, as we've said, if he gets there, he's going to be vulnerable to pretty much this entire train with no DRS and next to no energy. Backer once again slots into P4. I think he'll be through into P3 pretty early on down the start-finish straight. As we got yellows, that's Phil, by the looks of things, running a little bit wide through turn 6. Already starting lap 10, so yeah, I told you the laps were short here. We're getting through them. Floody on to lap 10. We'll take the title as it stands, I believe. Wait, no, sorry. In fact, he may do. Yeah, we'll have to get the calculator out a bit later on that one, as Backer didn't quite manage to make it through this time. As Liam actually had chance to save a little bit of energy, but he's using it now because he knows he's going to be vulnerable down into 4. Backer has got the DRS this time and will deploy his energy, but can't quite get close enough just yet. Skipsy coming back into this as well, although he's picked up a penalty somewhere out there. Multi, we've not seen him up the sharp end for a few races, but he's managed to get himself to the end of the train. And if he can keep himself out of trouble, has a very good chance of moving up the order here and giving his teammate a little bit of a helping hand as well, perhaps. We've got a second sort of race going on behind with Giraffe. Bit of a gap there to... In fact, Giraffe's in no man's land, isn't he? And then we've got LS24, the Entity, Schnitzy, just in time. Christian Hasser, Ender, Phil. Cranky has dropped back as well. MRPK did not pit and is recovering from that earlier spin. Nick has just been in the pits now. And big tank slapper coming out of the pit exit as Fleddy's into another lap. Back to the battle. Has Backer just decided to stick in the DRS and charge his battery up completely? Seems that way. Doesn't seem like he's in it. You get the feeling if he wanted to overtake Liam, he pretty much could at this stage. Who in this train is going to be the first one to hit the pit button? That'll be interesting. It's not going to be Ricker on those mediums. Is Multi going to fancy himself in a bit of an undercut? They'll probably 2-stop or 1-stop as well. If you can stretch them out and put the hards on, maybe. I'd say it's anyone's guess at the moment, with several different strategies playing out there. Nico has put the mediums on. I would imagine that's going to be a 2-stopper for him. Backer still running in that 1 second window of Liam. And as you can see now, got 83% on the charge. See if he deploys any of it. He does indeed. He might just have to deploy a reasonable chunk of it to keep Skipsy at bay. Just because Backer doesn't want to... And Liam's pitted. So the man at the head of the train is the first to pit. And now we'll see what sort of pace these guys have got. But, even when Skipsy got ahead earlier on, he didn't manage to pull away, did he? So you get the feeling he's fairly similar. I think Backer's maybe got a bit more in the tank. If he can sort of break that 1 second window and stop having to go defensive and drive his own lines, and I think we'll probably see some decent pace from him. He'll be in himself, you would have thought, in the not too distant future. They're on to lap 12 on these soft tyres. And the track's opened up a little bit for Ricker just now, and he'll get used of those mediums for some laps yet. And no sign of, touch wood, no sign of any safety car. I can almost guarantee it'll happen now as Phil's going out of the pits quite a way ahead of his teammate by the looks of it. So has Nicker had some sort of issue that's meant he had to pit? Maybe some damage, maybe an incident we've missed there. Either way, we're into lap 13, and once again, as we've seen before this season, Fleddy's sizable lead means he can stretch the tyres a little bit longer and have fresher ones towards the end. It just compounds his advantage. Micken is following him, doing a decent job, and unless I'm mistaken, I may well be mistaken, so I'll not continue with that point. Either way, yeah, Micken running a very solid P2 at the moment. Backer hasn't managed to break the gap to Skipsy, who's still running very close in behind him. And yeah, doing a good job for Alpha at the moment. Rick has just dropped out, and as you can see, he's used a lot of his energy trying to stay in behind. So as the pace has picked up a little bit in that at the head of the train, Rick is not quite managing to hold on and having to use a lot of energy to stay there. Multi still sticking within that 1 second window, going along quite nicely indeed. Got an outside bit of a podium this evening, depending on what happens up ahead. It does get, you do get the feeling it's pretty much a race for P3 at the moment. And that has probably put the curse on both of them. Who is that facing the wrong way? It's Christian Hasser in the middle sector. Unfortunately in the Red Bull. He'll get back on behind his teammate. So yeah, not a good day for Red Bull. And did I just see Phil? What on earth has befallen Phil here? I get the feeling he's run wide through turn 6 and had the mother of all slides across the infield. Either way, he's picked up a penalty for his troubles. As LS24's in the pits, Skipsy also in the pits, so that releases Backer from any sort of DRS threat, but it may be leaving him vulnerable to the undercut. Lap 14 now, we're going to be coming around to start 15. It'll be interesting to see when Fleddy decides he's had enough of these soft tyres. We've got Christian Hasser in the pits following that incident as well, so he drops behind the McLarens by the looks of things. Fleddy is maybe pitting, yep, it's always difficult to tell with the way this track falls, but he's definitely pitting, as is Micken, so top two are in. Is Backer going to continue? Yep, Backer carries on. Oh, Micken's picked up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's unfortunate for him. Especially if, yeah, now Backer and Ricker take over the head of the field. Giraffe up to P3 as well. Hopefully he's got his fan club watching. Fleddy's going to come out by the looks of things in P4, so it just goes to show his advantage. Micken comes out, he's just going to drop behind Schnitz. He maybe drop behind the Entity as well. But it comes out into a reasonable amount of clear air. I'll tell you what, Fleddy's got a perfect clear track ahead of him and can use these mediums, get them bedded in nicely, not have to take too much out of them, be on all the right parts of the racetrack. As Multi rejoins, unfortunately for him, right behind Cranky, and in a little bit of a battle as well. Cranky's on the hard tyres, so he's going to be going a long way. Multi will want to get this move done as quick as possible. Can't get around the outside of turn 6 just yet. Could he nip up the inside here? Had to sort of half bail out of it, didn't he? Should be able to get Cranky on traction here. A little bit of contact, hopefully no damage. Oh, A little bit more contact as he sort of got dragged into him with the wheel lock sort of thing. Either way, it should get traction now and get it round the outside of Magullo, and has that one cleared and shouldn't be under threat from DRS either. I think the traction on those new tyres will carry him nicely up the hill. He has a bit of energy to deploy as well. But either way, we've seen Bakker in the pits as Micken, I think, makes it past Schnitzy. So Bakker, where's he going to come out in all of this? He's pretty much alongside that train, isn't he? Which is now behind the entity. So it's Liam, Skipsy, and Bakker. So it's the order in which they pitted again, isn't it? I think he comes out just ahead of Just in Time, who's the lead Williams on the hard tyres. So that works out pretty well for him. But, Liam's cleared the entity on those older mediums. So we've got some yellows. That is no, MRPK, was it? Looks like he's been round again. And yeah, another pretty dismal day for McLaren, unfortunately. Didn't improve from qualifying as we expected it to. Ricker now still leading up the front on those mediums. He'll be hoping for a safety car around about now to revive his championship threat. Giraffe coming across the line as well on the same strategy. Fleddy, as we've mentioned, has clear track ahead of him and will probably try to secure the fastest lap on this run. There's plenty of energy to deploy. Does he feel the need to? Yes, he does indeed, and we'll keep an eye on what the time could be from him. We'll go on board actually, because this, I think, is his first flying lap following his pit stop, and it all looks pretty nice, doesn't it? It's all under control, and I'll leave you to it for the rest of the lap with your championship leader. Didn't manage to get the fastest start that time then, as we've seen Christian Hasser facing the wrong way down at turn 4, so unfortunately another spin for one of the Red Bulls, but should be cleared very soon. Ricker still leads from Giraffe, Fleddy, Micken, Liam, BJ, Skipsy, Bakker, the entity Just in Time. Multi is right in the thick of it following his pit stop. We've got Cranky, MRPK recovering to P12, Schnitzy, Ender, sorry, now LS24, Ender is in the pits. We've got Phil, Nicker and Christian Hasser, and it's incredible that I know we've got quite a few strategies going on out there, but so many cars still within that sort of middle sector. It's still very bunched up, as we're starting to see quite a few penalties applied now. As what are we at, half distance in the race, so Ricker now is taking these mediums quite a long way, so it's looking like those who pitted just a few laps ago on the soft sides. Wait a minute, we've got Christian Hasser somehow in the middle of the straight. What's happened there? Has he tried pitting and been reset to the track? We've got a safety car. I think Christian Hasser has tried pitting, hit the wall, and has been reset to the track in the middle of the start-finish straight, and we have a safety car which could potentially turn this race on its head. And crucially, look at that, Ricker gets out just ahead of the safety car, which means he can maintain the gap. So yeah, the safety car, if they'd have picked Ricker up there, that would have been interesting to see whether he'd have been allowed through or not. I would suspect not. Either way, we've lost Christian Hasser, and Ricker now has a free stop. Question is, he'd have wanted to take these mediums a little further. So the question is, what does he put on? Does he play it very safe and go for the hards, or does he go aggressive, considering we've got a couple of laps at least under the safety car? Does he put the softs on and go all out for the end of the race? Either way, Fleddy is, if he pits, Fleddy's going to be right behind him on track with probably the better tyres on. So it gets Ricker in the fight. It by no means gives him an easy win or anything like that. We've got both McLarens pitting, so they're going to be stacking up in the pit lane. And what are they going to put on? Phil's putting on the softs, so he's going for it. And Nicker puts on new mediums. I think, did Phil... No, Phil's already pitted, hasn't he? So he didn't have to put the softs on. As Ricker picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. We're under the safety car, we don't need to be doing that. Fleddy's already gone through. So it wasn't a big enough margin to gain track position. So if anything, I think this is... Eric saying in the comments, you can make 16 laps on the soft 50% tyre. That's good to know. So we are expecting these guys to have a decent amount of tyre life towards the end, especially with a couple of safety car laps built in. It's been quite a while, quite some time since I've done Brazil on an F1 game, so strategies maybe a little out of date by this time. Either way, Ricker's now in behind on brand new softs. I think I'd still rather be on a set of pretty much brand new mediums at this stage. I think Fleddy's still in a very strong position. I don't think, other than bunching the pack up, I don't think the safety car is going to have a massive deciding factor in this race. It's sort of backed the top two up, hasn't it? They had quite a lead at one point, although Micken, I think, had a 5-second penalty, didn't he? So that's going to cost him. Ricker, yeah, we've seen so Micken and Ricker both picking up 5-second penalties for speeding in pit lane. Will be regretting that very much around about now. Especially Ricker, who pitted under the safety car, so there wasn't that much to be gained. As we come through, we will start lap 21 of 36. So who do we need to be watching out for, really? Skipsy on new mediums has been in again. So he's now P8. Backus stayed out there on 4-lap all mediums. You do wonder why Skipsy pitted. Did he put the hards on it? No, I don't think he did. So he's just pitted to get 5 laps life off his tyres, unless he had damage or something like that. Who else do we need to look out for? MRPK could spring a surprise. He's put new softs on. We saw him fighting up the front earlier on. He's got new softs on now, and we'll close that current 19-second gap by the time the safety car comes in. Can McLaren salvage their day? They've got another crack at it. They've split the strategy, one soft, one medium. Can either of them get themselves up into the major part of the points? All this will be answered in the next sort of 15 minutes, I guess. Still waiting for quite a few drivers to join the queue. Who have we got at the back of the queue so far? We've got Ender, so MRPK, LS24, Cranky, Schnitzy, Phil and Nicker, all of who have been in the pits, so they've dropped even further behind than they were with their various adventures this evening. So Fleddy at the moment just has to keep a reasonable amount of temperature in the tyres, doesn't want to be taking any life out of them, and of course has the energy fully charged up now, as will everyone. Orange light's still very much on the safety car, no sign of it even considering going in yet, as you'd expect. So we're going to go into lap 22 of 36 under safety car conditions. And the back of the pack is just starting to close up now, we're just waiting for the two McLarens. We'll check in with them. Nick currently running P17, just the one retirement, and Phil is making his way to the start-finish straight. To the start-finish straight proper, I guess. It goes across the line, and the pack is just around the exit of turn 3, so they'll catch them pretty quickly. As I don't know what just happened there. They'll catch them pretty quickly. I think we'll have the safety car in this lap, and Fleddy will take over the pace at the front of the field. He will effectively become the safety car for the final couple of corners. And as we've seen before here, you have to make sure you leave a pretty big gap, because the safety car's got to return to the pit lane before you pass it. So that long pit straight definitely makes things a little trickier. And waiting for the sign. No message from race control just yet, so hopefully not going to be too late to call, because that can cause problems, as we've just mentioned. You need a pretty big gap here. But, light's still on the safety car. It's in this lap, and now Fleddy's going to have to get things slowed right down. That's, again, poor from Codemasters, really, that safety car call comes just before the final corner, because there's no chance of giving it a long enough run to get back to the pits. You then end up with cars travelling very slowly. You know, we've seen restarts in the past in Brazil where the car guns it before the final corner. No chance of Fleddy doing that there. He'd pass the safety car before they even got to the left kinks, but he's gone now, and he'll get the race back underway into lap 23. Who's going to be making the moves? We've got Liam right on the back of Micken already. He's ahead of him effectively. Who's that coming through? That's Ricker making a massive move up the inside, and that's it. He's gone. Ricker's round, and with it, probably the championship. All the way down to P16 for the Mercedes driver. He's got to try and come back on as well, but he went all out, and wow, the Entity's taking half the track with him. So he's been involved in that somewhere as well. Maybe part of the same incident. But yeah, shame for Ricker. As we said, he's been very consistent this year. Not quite hit the highs that Fleddy has with his 5 wins so far, but he's kept himself in it. But unfortunately, he had to go for it. You give him that. And oh, wait a minute, we're seeing Phil facing the wrong way now, and a little bit of contact there as well. Phil can't seem to get back up and running. Does now. Did the Entity get any damage from that? It was just a little bit of contact. Doesn't seem to have done. But yeah, Phil once again right to the back of the field. Unfortunately, Fleddy round into lap 24, and we've got more yellows. Is that that's the other Mercedes of Schnitzy now hitting trouble as well. So it was the Red Bulls earlier. We've got Ender out down the start-finish straight. That's going to... Oh, wow. That's dangerous. We've got another safety car, as you'd expect. And Ricker's pitting. No, Schnitzy's pitting, sorry. Schnitzy pits. And, wow. What on earth happened with Ender? Schnitzy retires from the session, actually. He's somehow ended up as... I don't know what's going on with Phil. It doesn't look good at all. So yeah, unfortunately for Fleddy, he's got all that to do again. What does he do now? 8 lap all mediums. They've done a fair amount of time under the safety car. You'd say he'd probably stay out. Almost certainly will stay out, actually, especially with the pace advantage he's got. He could probably offset any small tyre advantage that that anyone behind has. Sorry, Fleddy is in. Pretty much the entire field is in, but Micken's continued on. Backer's continued on. Giraffe also. Malty. So both Alpines have stayed out. Where's Ricker? He's in the pits as well. And is he serving the penalty? He is. So Micken's not decided to come in and serve his. I still don't quite understand this whole serving 5-second penalties under the safety car thing. I'm fairly certain it's not actually the case in F1. Feel free to correct me, but I'm pretty sure it's always been the case that you can't serve. It certainly wasn't the case of drive-throughs or full stop go 10-second penalties, but yeah, feel free to correct me if that isn't the case. Either way, it seems a little bit daft that you can just sort of come in, pit under the safety car, lose absolutely no time, and then cruise up back to the back of the field with no penalty. And unfortunately, yeah, for Micken, staying out on those hards, he's still got his 5-second penalty. Backer's looking pretty decent at this stage, isn't he? Has Backer just put himself in the pound seats for this win? Fleddy's put himself back in the pack. I'd have been tempted to stay out if I was him, as we said. Either way, we're going to go into lap 26, so we're going to have less. We're going to have, what, about 10 laps remaining when we finally do get underway. Right, predictions then. Feel free to get yours in. I'm going to stick myself out there and I'm going to say Backer for the race win. And who are we going to pick? Fleddy, I'm going to say, can recover to P2. I think Backer will get ahead of Micken fairly early on and stretch enough of a gap to keep Fleddy behind. And who are we going to go with P3? I'm going to go for a shout on Giraffe P3. Why not? Keep the fan club happy. But that will probably all be proven wrong in about 30 seconds after we get back underway with green flag racing. But, the Mercedes safety car leading us round. And I wonder if we're going to have a late call once again. Yeah, safety car in this lap. It's a little bit earlier this time, but still right in the final corner. So Micken now will lead us away. Hopefully we don't get any penalties for contact under the safety car. Keep a nice steady pace. We'll have to obviously slow things down to let the safety car get back to the pits, but we'll keep it nice and steady. No heavy accelerating and braking. Micken's doing a fantastic job of that by the looks of things, and should be about to get things back underway. He's gunned it, and he's using overtake mode straight away to try and defend from Backer. He looks to have got a reasonably good restart given the circumstances. Now, how quick is he going to be on those hard tyres straight away? Are we going to see any contact into turn 1 again? We'll try and see what's happening. We've got Ricker once again going for the move up the inside. A little bit of contact maybe with just in time, but he gets away with it this time, and he is running P12 as a result. Giraffe is going around the outside of Backer, so making the most of those soft tyres, which, while they say they've got 6 laps on, pretty much brand new. He pitted at the start of the first safety car, I believe. So, yeah, Giraffe making best use of those soft tyres while they're pretty much brand new. And Backer, I think it will come back to him as the stint goes on. Micken now, how quick can he go on those hard tyres? He's the only guy out there on the hard tyres. Got 4 on the mediums, as you can see. The rest of the field is all on new softs, except to the 2 Astons that are on softs that they put on, as we said, at the first safety car. So, Giraffe using his overtake mode. Can he get ahead of Micken? Down into turn 1. DRS is not enabled, of course, until 2 laps after the safety car. So we've just done 1. We'll have the next lap without DRS, and then it will be available. Can he get the move done either way? Not quite. As I don't think we're going to see too much overtaking. Multi's now tucked in behind his teammate, so it's an Alpine 3-4 as it stands. So, wait a minute, we've got Phil off once again, and we've got Liam as well. Has been involved in some drama back there. So wait a minute, what have we got going on here? Nicker up the inside of just in time. Ricker is ahead of the pair of them. So if... what's going on here? No, sorry, missed that. Yeah, if the likes of Fleddy or even Ricker manage to come through the field, at least Backer has got his teammate as a rear gunner at the moment. Giraffe, though, is putting quite a bit of pressure on Micken on those hard tyres. So at the moment, on lap 28 of 36, the soft appears to be the better tyre. What will be the better tyre come lap 36 of 36? As now Micken really coming under pressure again. No DRS, but Giraffe's gone this way and that, and now eventually decides to go to the right hand side. DRS is now enabled, but did he make the move stick? I think he did. We didn't get the best view of that. We had that annoying side pod view every time we want a wide facing view. MRPK's had a little bit more contact by the looks of things. He's stuck on the outside of turn 1. Gets underway once again. He'll pick up a couple of points, but yeah, unfortunately more disappointment for him. Giraffe is now through at the front on soft tyres. How quick can he pull away from the cars behind? Can Micken keep the Alpines behind him with now having the DRS? He's still got it at the moment to Giraffe, of course. And how quick can Fleddy clear this AlphaTauri ahead of him? Because then he's right on the back and sort of within win territory again, isn't he? You get the feeling he's coming to get them. And he's managing to make his way through the field pretty well so far, even without the DRS, and he'll get it now, but he's maybe even going to make the move up the inside into the final corner. He'll still get DRS because he's close enough to Multi. A little bit of contact, but he's through into P5. I say he's close enough to Multi. Maybe not quite. He's borderline. I don't think he got it. No, he did. Yes, he did. Sorry, he pops it open a little bit late. And can he defend now? He's got no energy, though. That's how he's made his way through the field. He's used absolutely all the available energy to him. And he's not going to get the DRS this time down into turn 4 on Multi. So he will be vulnerable to LS24. He's got no energy himself, but does have the DRS. And we've got Skipsy in behind as well. Can he take advantage? He's got a reasonable amount of life left in the battery, and he's going to stick himself up the left hand side. That's going to close in as they come to turn 6. Just about managed to keep it on the track, using a little bit of grass to keep himself comfortable. But look at that Entity going around the outside. Can he make that one stick? That'd have been impressive. Either way, we'll go back to the front. We've got Giraffe still leading. We've got Micken in P2. Don't forget that 5-second penalty. We've got Backer currently running in P3, and he'll get the DRS this time. And Micken maybe just dropping too far behind Giraffe. Might leave himself vulnerable. He's not quite within it at the moment. I don't think he was in it as they went through either. No DRS opener on the Haas. Got the Multi's attacking Backer at the moment. No team tactics going on here, as the two Alpines racing each other down into turn 1. Is Backer maybe thinking that Multi can get off up the road and lessen the damage from his own penalty. Either way, we've got Yellow's in sector 1. That's just in time. Has been round and having to engage reverse to get going again. Giraffe is still very much up the front of this race. He's got 2 cars now behind him with penalties, so he's got a bit of a buffer on lap 31 of 36. Are we about to see a Giraffe win? He's been on the podium 4 times already this season, yet to stand on the top step, and we might just see that in the penultimate race of the season. At the moment, it's all going very well. Micken just hovering around that 1 second window. Multi is not going to get the DRS this time, so and look at this. This is close, isn't it? Fleddy is now right on the back of the 2 Alpines, and Backer has managed to charge his battery up quite well. He'll have DRS to his teammate ahead of him, but Fleddy's got so much straight line speed. It's incredible. Even with barely any battery, he's managing to run with these guys. But, just running out a bit towards the end of the straight. But, what can Backer do? Can he get ahead of his teammate down into turn 4? He's a little bit far behind at the moment. Cranky on Skipsy down into turn 1. So basically everyone has run out of battery at this stage. But Backer's the only one with any sort of life in his battery. Everyone has been very greedy since the safety cars come in. And Fleddy trying every which way on Backer. Can't go over the top of him. Has to sit him behind for now. Like 32 of 36. How long can this go on? The longer it does go on, the better it is for Giraffe up the front. And almost pushing Backer around the middle sector now. He's still going to sit within that DRS to his teammate. Interesting that they've not wanted to have Multi with as the buffer. As Backer goes a little bit deep, that might just give Fleddy enough, and he's got more power this time as well, so he will be able to use the energy down the start-finish straight. He's got the DRS open, but Backer's got it as well, but this time he's got a big run on him. Can he get up the inside? It's going to be a late move if he does. He's going to go for it, and not going to quite get through from there, but does put Backer offline a little bit. Might have compromised him through 2 and 3. And who knows, could get the move done now down into turn 4, but once again he's running out of the power. Backer's now joined the club on having used all his energy to defend. And yeah, lap 33 of 36, Giraffe up the top is able to take all of these lines. 1.7 clear of Micken now, who's 1.6 clear of Multi. So this double Alpine sort of DRS each other down the straight approach is managing to keep Fleddy at bay at the moment. But yeah, if I were them, I'd be inclined to have Backer as the one leading, because he's not got the penalty. It just gives him that little bit of insurance against a big late Fleddy move. But this Ferrari's got some pace, hasn't it? Those softs won't last forever. Definitely while he's moving around and sliding around, trying to get the power down. But we've got yellows again, unfortunately. Liam, I think, has dropped down. He's looking behind Backer, makes him go defensive. Now he's trying to go around the outside. We'll try and cut underneath again, looking for that better line through turns 2 and 3, but Backer managed to recover that one quite nicely. Got a pretty decent run out himself, as we've got Skipsy has gone back down the order in turn 1 this time. So we've lost Skipsy, and that is a contender for top 4 in the championship, isn't it? Well down the order now. Still, Fleddy can't go anywhere on this double Alpine assault. But Giraffe 2 seconds clear up the front. Ricker is still trapped behind Cranky and some way off Fleddy, so it looks like he's going to get outscored. We'll have to, as we say, get the calculator out. We'll try and let you know if we have a champion before the end of this race. To get the feeling, Fleddy would could probably do with another couple of positions. I think we're going to see Ricker just taking it to the final race. And I say Ricker, Giraffe was 30 points behind before the start of this race. He's currently leading. He will still be in it very much to the final race in Jeddah next week. Still, Fleddy cannot make it through. We're on to the penultimate lap now, 35 of 36. Fleddy's still trapped down there in P5. And Cranky is... well, we've got a bit of a three-way battle here. I don't know who's overtaking who, but Ricker looking to make progress. Cranky in the middle, entity up the front. Can Ricker now get it done? Once again, this is a battle with basically no ERS involved because they're all on overtake all the time. Look at Ricker trying anything he can. Swinging it all across the circuit. Couldn't quite find a gap. MRPK takes the fastest lap of the race. But we'll try and keep an eye on both of these battles. Fleddy, what has he got left in his locker? What can he do to find a way past these two Alpine cars? He needs to sort of get everything lined up for the final corner and deploy his energy at the right time. Maybe he's deploying it too early in the straight. He's deploying. I think he's going to deploy it pretty much now out of this corner. Yeah, but by the time he gets to turn 4, he's got next to nothing left. I think if he just uses, look, he's so close now. It's sort of irrelevant. If he was saving the energy, gets close to Backer, and then uses the energy to blast past him into turn 4. He's going for it down the inside into 1 anyway. Might just have it done this time. Can Backer come back at him? No, he can't. So Fleddy did manage to stay close enough this time, but once again, has he got enough energy now to defend? He's got the DRS himself from multi ahead. Backer's got the toe though, but can't quite come back this time. I think Fleddy has finally got it done. But yeah, once again, did leave himself a little bit vulnerable into 4. You have to make sure that they don't just do you straight away again when you're overtaking into turn 1, but he's got the move done and could now get a run at multi, but we're on the final lap. It's not going to be enough to win the race, so we're not going to see a 6th win of the season from the Ferrari driver. It's going to be your Aston man up the front. 4 podiums so far. He's about to make that 5, and it's finally adding a digit in that final column under the win. And what a drive it's been from Giraffe. I think pitted under the first safety car, stayed out, resisted the temptation under the second. He's going to come across the line and win the Brazilian Grand Prix. What a race it's been. Micken will come across the line in P2, multi P3. Fleddy takes P2 just from Backer in the end, so that move was crucial, wasn't it? 4 tenths ahead. Micken takes P4 after running P2 for most of the race, really. Multi drops back to 5th, still a very solid result for him, picks up some good points. Ricker down in 6th, so let's get the calculators out. I think the fact that Giraffe has won, that puts him still in the championship. I'm fairly certain Ricker will still be in it as well, as we wait for the last couple of drivers to come across the line. So essentially, so who took pole? It was Fleddy on pole, wasn't it? Yeah. So Fleddy's picked up 34 points this evening. MRPK, I think, took the fastest lap. So Giraffe's outscored him by 6. So that leaves him 24 behind Fleddy. So either way, we've not quite seen a champion crowned this evening. So it will go on to Jeddah with an incredible unknown into the final race of the season. It's been put off a little while as we tried to get it on the calendar. Of course, released this week, so we can go there right down to the wire, sort of as it is currently in F1 as well. Either way, we will be racing there next week. We've got a couple more races to come your way from Brazil. Beforehand, we've got C1 and C4, and I think we already crowned a C1 champion last week. I think we'll be perhaps seeing a C4 champion as well. So tune in for that on Thursday. And the Entity finished 9th this evening. I believe we'll be taking you through all the action on Thursday night. Confirmation of your order: it's the other Aston Man Giraffe taking the win from Fleddy. Backer in P3, Micken P4, Multi, Ricker, Liam, Cranky, the Entity, Nicker actually managed a pretty solid top 10 in the end. LS24 on his return picks up P11, MRPK just in time, Skipsy, Phil, Schnitzy, and Christian Hasser were your DNFs. So congratulations coming in for Giraffe. From us as well. Very well done indeed. Always nice to see a new winner in RLH, and we've had that this evening. We'll try and get you some news from C3. I think they're running a little bit behind this evening, so keep an eye on our social media, particularly Twitter, for some updates and see if we've got a C3 champion by the end of tonight. Either way, we're going to leave you here, so thank you very much for joining us once again, and from myself for this evening, goodbye.